Welcome back to Oktane 2025 here with CyberRisk TV. This is our show wrap up. Mandy, Logan with me. How you doing, Mandy?
Fantastic, Adrian. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. There's been a lot. I listened to almost all of your interviews. Some really diverse and interesting conversation there. Enjoyed the one about the nonprofits, particularly. That was
I
really
agree.
cool. I love that there's resources for organizations that don't necessarily have all the budget that they might need to do what they need to do. What are some of the highlights for you?
Ooh, I want to go back, I guess, to the first interview yesterday with Dor Fladel from Okta. Um, One thing I really valued about that interview was his ability to focus on exactly where AI was going, how his teams were functioning, and really the the overlap that he brought from having been a founder previously that was acquired by Okta and being able to see how much identity was something he had grasped years ago, right? From the early college days, and then seeing how he brought it forward and going to the customer base that he now looks at. I liked seeing the depth of experience and the very sharp way that he and his team are navigating enterprises adopting more AI. So I would definitely recommend going back to that interview and then looking at further information from him and his team on that, especially for all of our audience that are looking at, well, how does Okta handle this particular situation? Because what I like is they're able to reach out to the teams directly and get the support. That was one main thing. And then, of course, like you were mentioning with the nonprofits, with TechSoup today, speaking with Mike. And first, I love seeing, like with TechSoup, they were established in 87? Okay. So they've been around and were providing infrastructure and aid back then, which would have been
Pre-internet.
pre-internet. So we're discussing going from setting up fax machines and phone systems and exceedingly basic, well, there's no security because you're just using the thing.
Yeah.
So seeing TechSoup being a nonprofit themselves, coming from 1987 forward to now, and then Mike having a 20-year tenure with them and seeing, wow, we have these diverse nonprofits. There are no resources. How do we do this more intelligently? And I like where they are going with creating the fractional CTO alternative to help so many of the nonprofits. So I definitely recommend looking into what TechSoup does, especially because Okta themselves, and part of the reason TechSoup is so streamlined but also uses Okta was they found that around 2016, with Okta being so focused on initiatives, on giving back, on doing good in the world, that already aligned with TechSoup. And I love that Okta offers subsidies in order to use their product for nonprofits. And that with the fractional CTO program that they are providing, it's $400 a year that gives them access to technology advancing and information that nonprofits couldn't have any other way.
I think expertise is still going to be needed here because, like, on the one hand, there's all kinds of places where I can see cost savings with AI, but on the other hand, like especially we just interviewed Damon.
Right.
You know, he was talking about having all these instances of Cursor and Claude Code and doing stuff, while he's off doing something else, and I'm just sitting here thinking about, like, one day I connect AI to my AWS account and it bankrupts me, right? You know, I get this $40,000 AWS bill. I'm like, oh no, what happened? Like, is there some way I can, like, beg off of having to pay this bill? Because that's my entire savings, right? and kind of goes back to what some of the folks were saying. Like what I think this was, again, the conversation with Damon. Like, what you don't know to put into prompt can hurt you.
Absolutely.
You know, and that needs to be part of the prompt. Oh yeah, my budget for this is this amount. If you go over this amount, I won't be able to eat anymore. I won't be able
We
to
have
pay the
critical
bill.
failure.
Yeah.
This is a massive pain point. And I feel like with that, I am always concerned because the general conception, I think, is, oh, well, AI is here, so we can just rely on that. We don't need to do too much. In fact, I feel like some of the Forrester reports recently were showing that there was a move away from actually helping the security teams because those not on the technical side were going, oh, but you have AI now. You don't need as much budget. You don't need as many people, and you shouldn't be as burned out as you are trying to cover so much.
I've heard from folks saying that they were buying security using the AI budget because some companies now have a dedicated AI budget.
Okay.
So it's so that's super interesting. That some budgets aren't increasing or might even be reduced. I don't really think we see any reductions in security budgets, but Daniel Kennedy over at 451 does a lot of surveying and research on what's happening to security budgets.
Okay.
And he says they are kind of they're not decreasing, but they're also not increasing that much lately. But what they do, all these companies now have these AI budgets that never existed before, and some of the security stuff is now coming out of that.
Right. Did you get to dig any more into any of the releases today?
No, I did not. I did not dig that much into releases with anybody that I interviewed. We talked around it a little bit with Shiv from Off Zero.
Okay, good, yes.
Yeah. But, one thing was clear to me while we're building all these new protocols and these frameworks around AI, I just also got the sense from everyone that we have no idea where we're going to be in 6 months.
I agree.
I
agree.
Okay, we're building the future. We also don't know what the future is.
No, I feel like it's kind of, we're in that goose stage. Like when you're in the chrysalis, it's kind of in a goose stage, but it's kind of a functional thing. It's almost a butterfly. Not quite.
We've not emerged from the egg or the chrysalis. Yeah.
We have not, but it's also rapidly changing. And, just like when
Might be a moth.
It's true. Maybe a lizard will come out. We're not sure. So this goes back to we were discussing fleshing out AI so that the digital fabric could cover it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
It's similar there.
We're still making the clothes. Where it's just simple clothing at this point, nothing fancy, just a burlap sack.
It's right, exactly. Togas. We have AI in togas.
Yeah, just bed sheets, just tying bed sheets around it. It needs to be clothed.
Digital fabric, we go.
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to talk about that I loved, it was kind of understated, but as you walked past the keynote stages and towards the expo here, there was a little pin board where they had basically note cards where you could write something on the note card and hang it up, and it was. They asked a question: what do attendees think the next generation of cybersecurity professionals should focus on? So you could grab a pen, grab an index card, write your thoughts on it, and pin it up on the board. And I took a picture of that board because I wanted to see what people were...
Wait, did you put it into an agent and have it analyze it?
I did not.
Why not? What are you doing, Adrian?
No. It didn't even occur to me. That could have been so much easier.
We could do that right now.
I should have just fed that entire image into AI.
You could have.
I feel dumb now.
Oh, that was not the purpose. I just thought that would actually be interesting. You'll have to give me that image.
It was
so
handwritten,
I can use some of my
so
agents.
it would be really interesting to see how much of that handwriting it could work out. I don't know if the resolution of my image is good enough for it to read some of the small handwriting, but I was able to, so it should.
It should, and I'm thinking because I've been trialing Poe, which aggregates, I think, 30 to 40 different agents, LLMs, or
what is it?
Poe, P-O-E.
Oh, yeah. I know about Poe.
Okay, so I'm thinking that actually would be a good use case to put into Poe and go through all of them.
We will totally do that experiment right after this.
But
I did it
that,
manually.
What did you find?
So it's interesting. I found a variety of very specific recommendations. and then you could almost split it into specific, here's what they need to learn, here's how they need to learn, and then other the other half of them are more like, don't leave behind work-life balance.
Okay.
Your health is important.
Okay.
Like this kind of stuff as well. So it's interesting that people's minds went in two different directions there.
Right.
Like folks here, I'm sure, are anywhere from 3 years to 20, 30 years into their careers. So it was really interesting. I'll just read out some of them here.
Please.
That I've kind of summarized. So work-life balance was one of them. What else do I have along those lines? Empathy and diversity, still too much bias in our workforce, was one of them. Soft skills, leadership skills, listening skills. Some wanted to see more identity-specific material in cyber education. Learn how to communicate ideas, embrace change, and keep learning. I thought that those are all good suggestions. I think these are all Enterprise Security Weekly fans. It's stuff we talk about on the podcast, right?
And what was the prompt again on this for the wall?
The next generation of cybersecurity professionals.
Okay.
What should they focus on?
Okay.
Integrity. Teach creativity. There are no dumb questions. I like this one. There's no right answer or perfect answer in cybersecurity. It's always going to be some kind of compromise based on the business, the context, everything else. So yeah, don't look for perfect solutions.
Correct.
One of them was funny. It was somebody's very concerned about making sure people can pass tests without using AI. Like in school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. See, and I feel like that kind of goes into one consideration of how quickly are some of us going to lose the ability to think on our own?
Yeah, it's a concern.
It's a major concern.
Yeah, critical thinking is still going to be very important. Again, I think Damon mentioned idiocracy being
right.
more and more that is kind of a concern, like the dumbing down. As things can do things for us. Another one I thought was interesting was a suggestion that we should change the axiom trust but verify to verify then trust. So trust has to be earned,
Okay.
not given. Thought that was interesting.
Well, I feel like that's kind of how I go in my life.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, you should.
New folks need training tools and hands-on opportunities. We talked about that a lot with Damon. The fact that this is very accessible technology.
Right.
Very easy to jump in and learn it and play around with it. And then the last one I'll read out here, you don't need to know everything. Focus on fundamentals, and the rest will come with experience. I think that's, as someone who at some point in my career decided to be a generalist, not a specialist,
Right.
That really resonates with me.
It does. And say it again.
You don't need to know everything. Focus on fundamentals, and the rest will come with experience.
I mean, that's like sports even, right? Like Wilt Chamberlain or anyone who goes, figure out the basics and do them, execute them perfectly all the time. Everything else will fall in place.
Yeah.
Fair. So with identity and access management, then what would be a fundamental?
A fundamental, like just basics of governance, right? Like onboarding and offboarding. I did a webcast the other day, and there was a statistic that on average, companies can't onboard people to all the systems they need in less than 7 days. Or the average was 7 days. It took them, and 7 days is not 1 week,
No.
right? In business days, that's almost a week and a half.
Absolutely.
Which is, imagine being 7 days into a new job and you still don't have access to the systems you need.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
I mean, that has absolutely, and I like to think that in the intervening 10 years since that has been, that progress has been made, but there's no way that that's been made across every company, across every industry. There's no way at all. And I can imagine going back to, say, nonprofits or smaller businesses, medium-sized businesses, those who maybe have a rotating workforce, or they have different groups that come in and out more quickly. I think the onboarding and then the decommissioning of their access probably takes, sometimes I think it takes 12 months, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a weekly thing.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, the funny thing is, the more we automate some of this stuff, I think the less gaps and the less security issues in general that we have. So I think this is a good trend. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed going back to just the interviews I got to do, since I didn't get to attend any of the awesome talks that were going on. I highly recommend looking into the interview that will be aired on ESW next week, right? I guess with Heather Jalen of Box, and interesting transition from her experience as CISO of Zoom during COVID to now using agentic AI in every workflow at Box. That is a fascinating, and I feel like a very easily accessible person who is at the forefront of having done this on a very large and visible global scale. That was fantastic. So other interviews, I would also suggest just prepping to attend Oktane next year.
Yeah.
Looking ahead and following up on all of the materials that were being presented here.
Yeah, I hope I get to come next year, because I'm really interested to compare the conversations we had this year with where we'll be a year from now.
See, I adored that conversation with Damon, because when I interviewed him last year, and that's what he said. He said the same thing from our conversation, which was fantastic and deeply technical, and I adored that, to now, correct, weren't thinking about agentic AI 12 months ago. We didn't discuss that. So I love that we are getting to see this nexus of creation, but next year will be very, very interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have to start putting on some of these conferences twice a year.
I agree. No, this is exactly what I've thought. This is exactly what I'm going, no, like we were going to have to kind of more rapidly go.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have. We're going to wrap up for Oktane 2025. For all our coverage, you can check out securityweekly.com/Oktane. And that's us signing off. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.